Thankfully it didn't take long before other people came along. Just a bit frightening.
Straight into the plop drop area.
Got no gas, children with nosebleeds and perhaps sitting in a bit of a rubbishy situation at home.
So if we're all throwing up in a week, you know why. Living your best life, babe.
In this video, we continue to explore the Great Lakes of the Landes area in southwest France.
Hi, I'm Daz and she's B, and we're on a 12-week road trip round France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome.
Well, good morning campers, another rough night and a busy road. Quite possibly our worst park up that we've had on our journey. It was rain last night, lots of traffic, a bit noisy, but this cheered me up this morning. A nice shower and shitty Fritz. That did make me giggle. Sam, we are not going to shitty Fritz, though I do quite fancy some fries. It's a bit too early for me. Suddenly it's turned into another rather nice town. So maybe we were just unlucky. There's a little market going on, Sunday market. Might have to bring the kids down here in a minute. Still, I'm on a bit of a mission to get to the lake. It's the smaller of the two lakes down in Biscarosse. I may be pronouncing that wrong as well, which I'm rather good at doing at the moment. The French are very good at doing this lovely paving. They're phenomenal at roundabouts, but look at this beautiful flower display. Yeah, how to ruin your morning walk to a lake. Suddenly I was alone and there was a guy there with his top off and a bottle of wine at 10 o'clock in the morning, and Sammy of course was stopping right next to him. Thankfully it didn't take long before other people came along. Just a bit frightening. Yes, apparently this lake that we're visiting now is one of the many great lakes along the Aquitaine coast, and they are behind the dune belt and they are about 15 to 18 metres above sea level. So there you go, a few interesting facts there about these lakes.
So what's so great about Biscarosse? Well, you've got the 13,000 hectares of forest land and 3,200 hectares of lakes. There's miles of cycle lanes to enjoy and beautiful white sandy beaches of the Atlantic coast.
Well, I failed miserably there on my walk with Sam, walking what felt like in parallel to the lake, but between myself and the lake was a path and a canal. Now looking at the map, at some point I'm sure they all join up. I'm sure that I'll be able to get to it. But this morning, knowing that Daz has got no gas, children with nosebleeds and perhaps sitting in a bit of a rubbishy situation at home, I'm not going to explore any further. I'm going to get back to the motorhome. And I'm going to get off the forest path, because even though I've covered myself in Skin So Soft, apparently that's not enough for the gnats around here, and I'm being absolutely munched. I must have about 20 bites across my body at the moment, so I think I'm going to have to move on from Skin So Soft to something else. And that's a first. That's always done really well for us, even in Borneo I seem to remember. Anyway, now to take a more urban route home. So, emergency situation, we've made it to Super U near Biscarosse.
Who may or may not have gas.
Let's hope they do, let's think positive, we've run out.
That thing lasted us about 10 days.
See, we've got a horrible penchant for having hot dinners and hot lunches. The kids think nothing of us cooking up some pasta and noodles at lunchtime, but actually it needs to stop while we're away, otherwise it's just too expensive. It's going to be baguettes and couscous from now on. Apart from today, because I've got soup. Sorry. Just a regular thing in a French supermarket. Hey, I mean, they always have very interesting poissonneries, but this is something else. Quick, let's escape. So here's another aisle that is Etty's favourite, the sweetie aisle. But we have averted disaster this morning. We found the reserve camping gas. It's a little bit more expensive at €32. But we don't want to be spending that every couple of weeks. We've got to stop burning so much gas.
Well, it's another scorcher of a day, and I almost got burnt in the shop. Went to the customer services, asked for the recharge. Avez-vous recharge ici, camping gas? Yes, automatic, she said. No ticket, went in, picked up the recharge, brought it down to the cashier and was almost charged 60 euros for the gas bottle that I paid 28 euros for the other day. I managed to get her to ring a colleague and she checked the shelf and it was 32 for the recharge this time in a Super U. I can't remember the last place we were in, but it was 28. So it's already shot up, 4 euros a bottle. Anyway, it's in now, the fridge is working, which is great. I think 2 ice lollies they're gone, too far gone. But now it's also time to be a bit more efficient. So when we do a drive like we're about to do now, all the way down to our next air, is switch it from gas to car battery. Try and save a little bit. We're also going to try and make sure we do cold breakfast, cold lunch, and only hot dinners if necessary. Let's see if we can make this last longer than 10 days, shall we? So we've driven half an hour down the road and now we're at this beautiful little marina on the edge of the lake with people coming out with their paddleboards. So hopefully it's a chance to get the paddleboards out. Bee's helping with the top ups.
I'm really not. I could just take my hand off and it would just stay there.
I just want to comment on one of these things. Now often the tap is down the bottom, which is also bad, but even here, screwing this in with one hand, if you drop this, or as we had a bike helmet fall out, it falls straight into the plop drop area. When there's a beautiful side here doing nothing, there's a beautiful side here doing nothing, and another side not really doing much. They seem to have put the clean next to the dirty, which is a struggle for me to get used to. So if we're all throwing up in a week, you know why.
So last night we were frantically looking around for campsites and we were even contemplating the possibility of paying. And there were some places that pay per child, so you're paying for the spot, then for each individual child, and then for the dog. And then it starts to go into sort of 50 euros. And it's nothing more than a space in the countryside by the lake. And this is what we've got here. So this is 9 euros for the night. If you want to add Wi-Fi onto that, it's 3 euros on top. But you've got all of your services, you've got showers here, and this is a camping car air. So sometimes I do feel like these private campsites really are trying to rip off the motorhomer, because there's so many other places that you can stay in. You've just got to get up early and move early, because there's no way you should be doing it at night time, because you won't get that space.
As we found out last night.
What's this I'm smearing onto this pointy baguette?
I don't know.
Would you like to know? It's this. Boisson vegetal. I've never seen it before. Never in the UK. What's going on? Why is France ahead of us with this?
The area also hosted an important seaplane base, and in the 1980s, 2 flying boat Dornier 24 World War II planes were recovered from one of the lakes.
Did you touch one?
No, I really want to touch one.
The lake also provided safe and stable access for Indy to enjoy at least being on the water, if not in it for now.
We're having a lovely time by the lake this evening with Sammy. He's met some small dogs. Dad is out paddleboarding with the 2 little ones.
Yes, and we paddled right up till sunset and then headed back to Stampy for the night.
Well, good morning by the lake. We are about to go on a bike ride. That's me and the 2 boys that don't have broken limbs, while my poor 13-year-old is here doing some work. Look, evidence he is home-edding. Well, we just had a little giggle about poor 13-year-old who accidentally tripped over his own legs. But he's doing some English work whilst we go and get some supplies. Now apparently there's a half decent shop about a 12-minute bike ride away, so that's what we're doing. this morning before we do a little bit of home ed by the lake and then use the lake this afternoon. It's such a beautiful setting. We know it's going to be a hot day today. It's 32 degrees. You may be wondering where Daz is. He's not here. So Daz runs his own business, but he's been using a particular supplier over in this region of France for about 12 years, and he's never visited their factory. So he got in contact with them. They came to pick him up this morning from our aire, and there wasn't much notice either, so he was sort of just relaxing, and then suddenly he said, oh my goodness me, they're outside. So he quickly got the bikes off the rack, and he's gone off for a lovely soiree with them this morning, and hopefully he's going to experience some nice French culture.
Yes, I got the full tour of this enormous bag manufacturer. Low points were these overshoes. The high point was the liquid lunch.
So I've got my bag, so hopefully going to be able to fit some supplies in there. It's a gaming laptop bag, but it will have to do. Just identified the moth using my phone. It's a sycamore moth and it is found in Europe, so it's in the right place. I was reading that this area of France has some of the biggest pine forests in Europe, which I thought was quite surprising. So this area of France is new to us. We've never really gone south along the Atlantic coast beyond the Vendée. We've always gone south, more central and to the east. So we've gone all the way down to the southernmost point of France, but never on the west coast. So yeah, we're learning new things and we like them. Blimey! Well, this is a view I wasn't expecting on the cycle, but I could tell that these are water treatment works because of the smell. Pooh! Right, we lost Phoenix. And we made it. Well, that was a semi-successful trip to the shops. As we always find with these smaller places, some of the prices are inexplicable. For instance, 3 or 4 euros for a packet of Pringles, and the apple juice will cost €1.14, and the orange juice, which everybody loves, is €4. Go figure. Well, after that long cycle, I think this is a nice place to stop, have a little cool down. There's apparently bubble tea, that's bound to be expensive. We'll have a look, shall we? So, the kids and I did some home ed, we went for a cycle, and now it's very, very hot. But this is the great thing about the beach lake culture in France, is that it can be close to 8 o'clock at night and people are still having a great time. So just putting together some dinner, and Daz has been to see the local supplier today, as I mentioned earlier, and I was just starting to chop an onion, and he said, oh, talking about things that you can do in France and you can't do in France, because we've been talking about the healthcare system. He said you can't do DNA testing in France. Apparently genealogy and doing any research into your background is banned.
Yes, according to French law, DNA testing is only allowed for medical, scientific or judicial purposes. The main concern is that paternity tests and medical DNA tests shouldn't be done without supervision. But the ban also extends to genealogical DNA tests. So if you're keen on your ancestry but don't get many French results, that could be the reason why. Our surroundings were so beautiful, we decided to get the kids out one morning and sketch for an hour. A very relaxing activity. But enough of this scenery, it's time for Bea to get to grips with the dark side of motorhoming.
It's
So,
really heavy.
Turn it round. You're going to have...
Turn what round?
Turn it away from you. Turn it, yeah, keep turning, keep turning. Now you've got to put one hand on top and one hand, hang on. Your left hand on there, your right hand's going to hold the bottom and press that yellow button, and you've got to press the yellow thing, and then you've got to tilt it. Make sure that nose is pointing. Right, as soon as you press the yellow thing, it will come flying out.
God, help me. What's life become? Oh, my sandals. I need to wash. Still really heavy. There's a blockage. Oh.
That reeks. And now you gotta, I'll help you with this bit. Put that nozzle.
Still got stuff
underneath.
in it.
Yeah, what you have to do is sort of, no, not over the handle, because people got to touch that. Give it the shimmy. That's it. That's the action. Loving it. Living your best life, babe. Right, while you're doing that, I'll go and do the freshwater. Well, here we are. We're just leaving our lakeside camping ground. Feeling a little bit sad. It's been really relaxing, really nice here. It felt very holiday-like. And short of running out of food and having to drive quite a long way for that, we had everything we needed. It was something lovely about the end of the day, just going for a swim in the lake. Still, there could be better things to come. Right now, we've got to go and pick up some food and some drink and see what happens next.
What happened next was we followed the edge of the lake round to another motorhome aire, this time in Parentis-en-Born. And that's where we're going to have to leave you for this video. Thanks to all those wonderful people who have liked and subscribed so far. If you want to see more of our fun and games, adventures and disasters, then don't forget to catch our next video. So until our next escape, thanks for watching.